On this episode of the Junior Wakefield Show, I have the bestest guest ever, Todd Baughman. I believe everyone has greatness in them. As a personal trainer, it's my goal to get people to push themselves and to see the greatness in them that I see. And some people have stories so great, so incredible, I felt the need to share them with the world. Join me as I sit down and talk with some of the people who define greatness in our generation. This is the Junior Wakefield Show. Welcome to the Junior Wakefield Show. I'm Junior Wakefield, and my special guest today, we've been friends for over a decade, and we crack up, and you'll find out why we crack up. If anybody's familiar with this young man, welcome, Todd Baughman.
Young man, wow. Can we get that in a big highlighted title? I like that with most bestest. What does it say? Most bestest guest to ever exist. Man, you know how to make a guy feel special, Junior.
We're about to see. We are about to see. Boy, when we were coming up with this, it was like, oh my goodness. But that's the fun part. That's the fun part. It's about being fun. It's about having fun. And you and I have thought, boy, we go back. We go back. And we go back when kids were a lot smaller than what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Which is amazing. But it's funny, our paths did not cross during the saltgrass days.
No, you dodged that bullet somehow.
did.
You know, I was at 10 different stores or more.
And missed you the whole time.
Somehow,
And I was there over a year, you know, which is amazing. I don't know how we missed it. Maybe at the times that you came in, or sometimes in that, or wherever it was, I was off or something. But I was there with Dwayne Snyder, so shout out to Dwayne Snyder.
The man, the myth, the legend.
There you go, Dwayne Snyder. Now, Todd, since the saltgrass days, what have you been doing?
Since the saltgrass days, so I think it's been a little over 6 years, 6.5 years, maybe something like that. So it's been a while. Did the saltgrass thing for 17 years.
Wow.
17 years.
17 years.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Now, how did it feel your first day away from saltgrass?
Scary. Yeah. That decision to leave the service industry for really a different kind of service industry, if you will.
Most definitely.
You know, so it's still service industry. Yeah, that was, you know, when you think about it, you build a career, you bust your butt for 17 years to try and provide for your family in a certain way, and you feel like that's the plan, that's the whatever, and it's hey, whatever you need, wherever you need it, I'm in, I'll do it, let's go make it happen kind of a guy, and to take that comfort and kind of, it's like jumping out of a plane, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, I'm not brave enough to jump.
I'm
out
not
of a plane,
brave enough to jump out of a
no,
plane
we're not
either.
gonna do that.
But you were in the service industry, like you said, for 17 years, and you were at many different saltgrasses. Your wife was in the service industry also, right?
She was, yeah. Well, you meet any good restaurant manager who's married, I love to just ask them, like, what restaurant did you meet your wife at? Because that's pretty much what happens.
That is actually pretty much what happens. Now, when you made the switch, and we're about to tell what you do here shortly. You made the switch. How tough was it to make that switch? Because you had to talk to your wife. Shout out to Crystal.
Beautiful.
You had to talk to your wife. How did that go?
You know, the talk with Crystal was great. That was the easiest part of the whole thing. You know, when you take a step where you leave a certain level of financial security and trajectory, and Saltgrass treated us great. You know, when you leave that, you would think that there's, from a wife's perspective, because women, a lot of times they really need security, and they need to know, hey, I'm gonna be taken care of, kind of a thing. And we didn't have that. I wasn't offering that with that shift. But she was great. She was incredibly supportive. I think the biggest challenge for that was it took me a long time to make a decision of what I wanted to do. I mean, it was months of conversations and interviews and thinking, oh, do we do this? Do we not do this? Can we do this? Can we not do this? And she was just basically like, look, like, I will follow you to the ends of the world. But you need to make a decision and you need to make a plan. And whatever
Wow.
that plan is, I support you, but you need to make a plan.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Now you heard that in relationships. You got your, if you call her new wave, I'm learning from my sons, you have a ride or die chick, which is Crystal,
Oh, yeah.
because she has your back. And she just said, you make the decision and let's go.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So now, and I did not, now if you guys heard that, you heard that I did not turn my phone off, and I'm not going to stand up and turn it off. So if anybody starts calling me, I do apologize about that.
I'm
Now,
ADD. I think everybody should just start
everybody
texting
just
and calling
text
you
and calling
right now at this moment.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So now, Todd, what do you do now?
So I'm a pastor now.
You are a pastor.
I'm a pastor now.
Now, you went from working numerous shifts at Saltgrass to become a pastor. That was your calling.
Crazy, huh?
No, actually, knowing you, it's not.
Oh.
Knowing you, it's not. But you're still in the service industry.
Yeah, very much so.
That's amazing. And you're still doing everything that you did in the restaurant. Is you're serving and you're helping people.
Yeah, I'm just not in a walk-in cooler at 5 a.m. anymore, counting chickens, and that kind of thing. But there's a beautiful thing about the service industry that correlates to, man, it translates into so many other industries. All you service industry people out there, if you can do the service industry, you can do pretty much anything.
Anything. That is true. That is true.
When you think about that industry, it's all about creating an environment and experience where people can be comfortable, people can grow, people can connect relationally. All those things happen in the restaurant world, right?
That is true.
All those things, if you're doing ministry right, happen in that world too, or you're helping break down barriers that keep people from experiencing healthy relationships, helping break down barriers that keep people from experiencing God and understanding how much God loves them.
Oh, that's incredible.
Rather than letting them experience a nice steak, you're letting them experience God.
Which is more of what everyone needs.
Yeah, but a good steak, man. I'm not going to knock that either.
No, listen, a good steak is good. A saltgrass steak is good because lived off of saltgrass steaks for a long period of time. But the way the world is, most people can't afford the steaks. But you don't have to afford God.
No, in fact, you can't pay the price, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you do now.
Yeah, so the journey for my role, is just how that decision came about. I guess I'll step into that. Or how much time do we have? We hang out for a couple days or an hour?
We ain't taking out for a couple of days, but
Yeah,
when
so-
Andrew starts waving, he'll tell us
start
when.
waving, and
He'll
like,
start
wave
waving.
the
Yeah, he'll
flag
start.
over
But
here.
You'll
that's
see my
exactly.
hands go waving everywhere.
Wait,
Yeah.
and Andrew, what is your title? Because nobody really sees him recently. But what's your title?
My title is the voice of God, and in fact, if you direct your eyes over to the screen, the computer doesn't lie.
Yeah.
It's,
Wow.
It knows.
I've never heard God's audible voice before. I always envisioned it sounding a little different, but hey, that could be it. I like it.
That could be.
You
it.
take what you can get.
You take what you get. I always think it's funny. I was thinking back in the days being young. It was like, man, that most deep voice was that James Earl Jones voice, and you'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, but we got a different one. So
That was our ADD moment. We should have a sponsor for the ADD moments of the show. Like, this ADD moment was brought to you by.
What was it brought to you by the voice of God? No, but anyway.
There you go.
There goes my phone again.
There's the
Everybody's
text.
starting to call.
That was
you
a
go.
message from
I like
above.
That was a message. It was like, y'all better stop playing.
I like
so,
it.
Okay, well, go ahead. So get
so-
back into what you.
So the decision, Krista was great on it, but I think for me, there was a lot of obstacles to overcome in that decision. Like, first off, I never imagined that's what I would end up doing, and way before I ever, was offered the opportunity to even think about being a pastor, every now and then that dream would pop into my head of like, hey, so about me, man, I had been out of church for a decade. As soon as I was old enough to start skipping church, I was skipping church. I hadn't anything to do with church until I met my wife, got married, had a kid, decided it was time to be grown-ups and start checking out church again. And God just started to grow inside of me. And, every now and then a little dream would pop up. Oh, you like this, ministry thing and helping people, grow closer to God. Maybe you should think about being a pastor someday or whatever. And every time I had that dream, Junior, like I dug a 6-foot hole, I threw that dream in there, I buried it, I lit it on fire. I was like, there is no way that I ever want to do that, or even could do that, or even worthy of doing that. It's like when they finally approached me, our church did, and asked me like, hey, will you interview to be a pastor or whatever? Like every sin I ever committed, I think flashed before my eyes in some epic movie montage. It's a really long montage. There's a lot to go over.
We've all been through there.
Yeah. So, I said there's no way I'm worthy of that role. But I kind of made a deal with God, and you know how those work out, and never quite work out the way you think. And
that's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
I just said, God, I know I'm not worthy to be a pastor. You can't use me like that, but you can still use me. And so I said, hey, use me in my family, use me in my workplace, use me in my neighborhood. And he did. He did some really cool things in all three of those areas. And eventually one day, church just out of the blue asked me to interview for a role, and turned my brain into mashed potatoes, and I had to get over that hurdle of feeling inadequate. And I think to an extent we'll always feel a little bit inadequate in everything we do. If we don't, then we're probably not pushing the needle far enough. But I had a good friend of mine that had been a pastor at another place, and just called him and asked him like, hey dude, you know me, do you think like they're talking about me being a pastor, are they crazy? And I'll never forget what he said. He said, one, I know that church, and if they feel like you have what it takes to be a pastor, then you're going to be great. He said the other thing was that insecurity that you're feeling right now, he said eventually that's going to morph into a really cool, humble confidence. And I'm in that journey or that process. I'm not there yet, but it's been a cool journey.
Now, so for everybody that's watching, I don't want you to think that he was working a shift at Saltgrass and then all of a sudden the next day they just asked him to be a pastor. What I want you to expand on a little bit was you were involved with the church while you were at Saltgrass. You were doing Bible studies at the house. You were doing group things at your house, right, in your neighborhood and different things like that. So when people saw that and when people know you and people get to know you, you just have a way of just wanting to help somebody, and you have a way of encouraging and motivating and strengthening and building and so forth. And there's a list of many more attributes that we can go on about. With that, you may not have saw what everybody else was seeing, but you fit the role perfectly.
Wow.
You did. So everything that if you go back and you look at everything that you've done, the way that you are, the way that your involvement was in the church, and the way that you connected with so many people, I think that was a natural fit. And you also think about your work ethic, of what your work ethic was at Saltgrass, where they used you. Now, wait, didn't you win an award or something at Saltgrass?
Man, we don't need to talk about.
We just went back in that. So that we have the base and we have the character. So
Sure.
didn't you win an award? And
Yeah.
now let me say this: everybody at Saltgrass doesn't win this award, right? How many Saltgrass stores do you remember?
I don't know, man. I got to be a part of Saltgrass, like, in its growth and blowing up. Like, when I started, there were 7 stores.
There were 7
stores. And then when I left, it was over 50. So
So over 50. So what was that award? So we can get over that real quick. What was the award you won?
we don't need to get into.
No, too late now. The
That's a
question's already
whole-
been asked.
It was just like a general manager of the year award.
Oh
kind of
wait,
thing. But that was like a team award.
He just said a general. It was just like a general manager of the year award.
That was
something like
for
that.
the whole team. That award is like that store, that team was really special.
Okay.
And they did some incredible
That's
things.
why you're in the position that you're in, on the journey that you're on, because of being humble. And you have to think about it. You won an award about being the GM of the year for a company that is still growing and expanding, that is still moving forward, and they use you as an example of what they want other managers to be. Bam, boom, I won my case. That was it. Second of all, you're a pastor. Boom! I won my case too. There you
Boom,
go.
there you go.
So,
Well,
which is good.
it's your
I don't
show.
even know what we're talking about
I don't
now.
know,
We
but
might as
you
well
won.
forget it. We
Whatever
might
it
as well
is.
forget it. How long you been married?
18 years in November was our 18-year anniversary.
Crystal, call in or ding my phone if that's correct. But anyway, and you have 2 kids.
We have 2 boys, 2 awesome boys. God knew I wasn't like mature enough to handle daughters or smart enough to handle daughters, so gave me 2 boys. So
And your
yeah.
boys, how old are they?
Noah is 17. He's a senior in high school. I know, right? You knew him when he was like
Yes.
this. And you were around when Jack was born.
Yep.
My youngest is 11.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah.
17 and 11.
Yeah.
Now, where are they going to school at?
So Noah's at Wiley East, senior year, and he's in that whole college thing, trying to decide what that looks like, and been accepted to a few schools, and I think he's narrowed it down to A&M or Baylor.
Oh, really?
So those are kind of his top 2 that he's kind of going back and forth. So it'll just depend on the money and all that stuff, because I don't make what I used to make. That's another part of this. There's a little bit of a pay cut involved, but
there you go.
it's all good.
And also, he'll be close by, within hours of driving for Crystal.
Yeah.
Just to make that's gonna be incredible.
I'm so proud of that dude. He has worked so hard. He's incredibly smart, but he's also really disciplined, and he's put in the work. And so I look forward to what he does moving forward.
Ooh, for the next level. Oh, that's
Yes.
incredible. So now, when we talked about Saltgrass, won an award, check. Talked about being a pastor, check. What do you see now in today's world? Oh, I know that's a tricky one.
Where do you
I
wanna
didn't.
go,
I didn't.
man?
I didn't jump on a certain subject.
Yeah, no,
But
I
I
love
just
it.
put a wide thing out there, and I
Yeah.
just want you to kind of hit that. And I say this. Not that we have to specifically get on anything. It's about what's some encouraging words or motivation or strength that you can give, especially in the times that we're living in.
Yeah, so I think the most, wow, you want me to do encouraging words. I don't know that I'm 100% ready for encouraging words to be the best words for me right now. I think maybe the biggest encouragement is that we're learning right now
Oh,
as a society, as a culture, as a country. We're learning, and there's some growing pains with that. And so, for me, 2020, it kind of there's so much stuff going on. It's COVID, race relations, politics, you name it, right? And it almost became like this joke of like, well, 2020 is just this 2020, right? It's so 2020. Well, you know what? The calendar flipped. It's 2021. You look around and not that much has changed.
not that much has changed.
Not
You're right.
that much has changed. And so I guess my encouragement would be, I'm hopeful that recognition that not that much has changed because of a calendar flip, that the change really needs to come from us. And the change really needs to come from our Creator. And I don't want to get too preachy or anything, but I think it's important for us to recognize what our roles are and our responsibilities to make our communities a better place, to make our country a better place, make a place where people can have empathy and understanding and care for each other and listen to each other and move forward in a positive way. I think we've seen a lot of what doesn't work.
Oh, that's a good one. In saying that, we've seen a lot in the way society is, in the way how people try to express their opinions in the wrong way. And it's one of those that hopefully we learn from the mistakes and say, hey, let's do this in a different way. Because I think one of the things that I've learned the most, it starts at home. If you start at home, then that's when you can start, reaching out and going from there. But you have to make sure that base and stuff is started at home. And that's one of the things that I've learned, especially in this society, because those are the ones that you spend most of the time with. Those are the ones that you talk to. I think it's incredible when you talk about your kids and being firm in their foundation and ready to move to the next level, which is awesome. That's what we wish for all of our kids.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I say that on the home thing, I'll add to that, you talk a lot about friends or family, and I think that's even more critical and important in this season is who you invite into that family unit beyond just what's in that home.
Oh.
And is there diversity there? Is there room for people that see the world differently and think differently that we can learn from and grow from and share about it? And so, yeah, I'm a big proponent of making sure we're listening to each other.
Most definitely. Well, Todd, you have any shout outs you want to give out to anyone?
Shout outs, okay. Yeah, we got to start with Crystal, the most amazing. If I'm the most bestest guest ever, most bestest guest to ever exist, wow. Then Crystal would have to be the more betterest wife to ever exist. So shout out to Crystal, shout out to Noah, shout out to Jack, and yeah, I think that's good for me, man.
There you go. There you go. Well, good. Well, you know, as I said, I've known Todd for a long time. I give a shout out to Todd and shout out to Crystal and shout out to his family. Amazing family. We've been friends for a long time. We're not even friends. We're family. So that's one of the things I look at there. Of course, my shout outs, they're always going to go to my son, Zachary. The cancer is a pain in the behind. There's other words that I would like to use. 2021, we're hoping to have some better results. So I give a shout out to him. Give a shout out to my dad. Dad, you know, we hope that your health continues to keep getting better, growing every day. Give a shout out to the family. Give a shout out to everybody that's watching the Junior Wakefield Show, who supported the Junior Wakefield Show, all the past guests on here. Give a shout out to Andrew, my producer. And Andrew usually doesn't talk on the Junior Wakefield Show, but this is the one time because tomorrow is his last day, and you have to watch the Junior Wakefield Show tomorrow because he is the special guest. So, but I'm going to give a shout out to Andrew. Andrew and I we've gone through this journey. We've gone through this, and I've learned so many things from Andrew. And so, Andrew, I just want to give a shout out to you and say thank you very much for all that you've done and all that you continue to keep do. Good luck to you at your next journey, next job. That's crazy. But anyway, and if anybody want to pitch in 25 cents per that we can give Andrew, and I'm joking on that
Yeah,
one.
there's no need for that, but thank you for the very, very kind words, Junior. That it really does mean a lot to me.
Well, appreciate it. Well, we will have you on camera tomorrow. Todd, any last closing words that you want to give on the show?
Man, I love you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to hang out. I love what you're doing, where you're bringing people in and you're helping people talk through stuff. And I think the better we can do as a culture, as a community of talking through stuff, the better off we're all going to be.
Most definitely.
You're
I mean,
a big part of that.
Todd, you and I are like salt and pepper. We're like black and white. We're like Starsky and Hutch. We're like, what is it, Poncherello chips? Well, I'm probably talking about shows that people don't even recognize anymore. So thank you very much for being here. This was awesome. I look forward to having you back. Maybe we can get you and Crystal on the show. That would be awesome. That would be great. So thank you very much for being here. Andrew, thank you. Thank you guys out there for watching the Junior Wakefield Show. Hey, guys, stay tuned. We're getting ready to do What's on Your Plate, where Todd gets to try my food.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And you guys have a great day. I'm Junior Wakefield, along with my special guest, Todd Baughman, and my producer, Andrew. You guys have a great day.